The funniest stories in the Bible that teach powerful lessons. Intro. Did you know that the Bible isn't just filled with miracles, battles, and prophecies? It's also filled with moments so unexpected that they can make you laugh out loud. There are talking animals, people hiding in luggage, prophets running away from God, and even a man who fell asleep during a sermon and fell out of a window. Yet behind every humorous moment is a lesson that can change your life. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore some of the funniest stories in the Bible. And if you enjoy discovering the Bible in a fresh way, subscribe to Faith at Dawn and join us every day. 1. Balaam had an argument with his donkey. Imagine waking up, getting ready for work, and suddenly your car starts talking to you. That's almost exactly what happened to Balaam. God sent an angel to stop Balaam on the road. The donkey saw the angel and refused to move. Balaam became angry and hit the donkey. Then something unbelievable happened. God allowed the donkey to speak. The donkey asked, "What have I done to deserve being beaten 3 times?" What's even funnier is Balaam didn't panic. He didn't scream. He didn't faint. He simply argued back. He actually had a full conversation with his donkey. Sometimes we're so focused on our own plans that God has to use unexpected things to get our attention. 2. Elijah started making jokes. There was a contest between Elijah and hundreds of prophets of Baal. They shouted for hours. They danced. They prayed. Nothing happened. Then Elijah started teasing them. He said, "Maybe your God is thinking." Then maybe he's traveling. And finally, maybe he's sleeping and needs someone to wake him up. Imagine one man making jokes while hundreds of people desperately try to prove their point. Moments later, God answered Elijah's prayer with fire from heaven. The lesson? Truth never needs panic. Confidence comes from knowing who God is. 3. Jonah tried to outsmart God. God said, "Go to Nineveh." Jonah said, "No." He boarded a ship going in the opposite direction. A storm came. The sailors panicked. Jonah admitted he was the problem. They threw him into the sea. Then a giant fish swallowed him. Think about that. Jonah spent 3 days inside a fish. No phone, no sunlight, no escape. And after all that, the fish spit him out exactly where he needed to be. Sometimes we spend years running from the purpose that God could have led us to immediately. 4. Zacchaeus climbed a tree. Zacchaeus was wealthy, important, respected, but he was short. When Jesus came into town, the crowd blocked his view. Instead of giving up, this grown man climbed a tree like an excited child. Can you imagine everyone looking up and seeing a rich businessman sitting on a branch? Then Jesus stopped, looked up, and said, "Zacchaeus, come down. I'm coming to your house." The crowd probably expected Jesus to call a king. Instead, he called the man hiding in a tree. God often notices the people everyone else overlooks. 5. Peter walked on water. For a few seconds, Peter stepped out of the boat. He actually walked on water. Then he looked at the wind, looked at the waves, and immediately started sinking. He shouted, "Lord, save me." Peter became the first person in history to walk on water and almost the first to swim home. Faith works best when our eyes stay on God instead of our problems. 6. Saul hid in the luggage. Israel wanted a king. God chose Saul. Everyone gathered to celebrate. Only one problem. Nobody could find him. After searching everywhere, they discovered that the future king was hiding among the baggage. Imagine being introduced as the leader of a nation while hiding behind suitcases. Even the people God uses the most can begin with fear. 7. Eutychus slept through the sermon. Paul was preaching, and preaching, and preaching. His message went so long that a young man named Eutychus fell asleep while sitting in a window. Then he fell out of the 3rd story. The crowd rushed outside. Paul prayed. The young man was restored, and everyone was amazed. It's probably the only sermon in history where someone literally fell asleep and survived to tell the story. 8. Sarah laughed at God's promise. God told Sarah she would have a baby in her old age. She laughed, not because she was happy, because she thought it was impossible. Years had passed, hope had faded, yet exactly as God promised, Isaac was born. Interestingly, Isaac's name means he laughs. The promise she laughed at became the reason for her greatest joy. Sometimes today's impossible situation becomes tomorrow's testimony. Final thought. These stories remind us that the people in the Bible were real people. They got scared. They made mistakes. They ran away. They laughed. They doubted. They fell asleep. They hid. And yet God still used them to accomplish extraordinary things. Maybe that's the funniest and most beautiful truth of all. God doesn't wait for perfect people. He works through ordinary people who are willing to trust Him. So if you've ever felt like you failed, doubted, or taken the long way around, remember Balaam, Jonah, Peter, Zacchaeus, Sarah, Saul, and Eutychus. If God could write incredible stories through imperfect people, He can certainly write one through you. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Faith at Dawn, where we explore the Bible in ways that inspire, encourage, and sometimes even make us smile. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you.